fine, and in the previous video we have done the fourth chapter from your Beehive, that is A Truly Beautiful Mind. And today we will continue our Beehive with the poem, the fourth poem of your textbook. The title I will come shortly, because a lot of students are confused about the title, and many people are confused because of the pronunciation of the words are such, because it is sometimes creates confusion in the mind, so that how to speak the words properly. So I will take the title. The title in this poem is very important, and I hope you all must be studying at your home properly. We will conduct the Google Meet on Wednesday, and in that Google Meet session I will be asking a question related to the poem, related to the video that I am posting today, the lecture that you will be having soon with you. So in this video alone I will be asking a question, so watch the video carefully. Any moment I can put that question up, because if I will put at the starting, a lot of students are skipping the videos. If I will say that at the end the question is, you will skip to the last. So I will put the question in between, and I will discuss the question in my Google session. So the poem, here we have, the name of the poem is The Lake Isle. The Lake Isle of Innisfree. So watch it properly. See the title very carefully. What is the title? The Lake Isle of Innisfree. So a lot of students are pronouncing the word isle as isle. So that is incorrect, because here isle means, isle is suggesting an island. Okay, in the word island, S is silent. So does in isle. It is a abbreviation of acronym for island. Okay, so Lake Isle of Innisfree. Innisfree is a place, and this place is having a lake island, an island surrounding the lake. Okay, so it is called the Lake Isle of Innisfree, and the poem is about our poet, who is very fond of this place. He likes this place very much, and see, today we are in the pandemic situation, and we are all at our home. But when we are in day-to-day life, what happens? We are running here and there, we are running to our jobs, to our schools, to different places. So we are working and we are busy. So to get away from the busy schedule, to get away from the busy life, the people, what they do, we go to some hill stations. Our Uttarakhand itself is a very nice place for such things, and at times we feel that we are at a place where the busyness is not such. But when you get a very hectic life, and when you are very busy in your day-to-day course, so what you do? You get away from all the hustle, and you try to go to some place where you can find what? You can find peace. So in this poem also, the poet is saying that in his busy life, he wants to go to a place called the Lake Isle and of Innisfree, of the place Innisfree. So he wants to go there for getting peace from his hectic schedule. So this is the main idea of the poem. The title suggests that the Lake Isle of Innisfree. So the poet has explained about this place, that how he feels whenever he goes there. As a child he used to go to this place a lot. So this poem tells us about the place and the atmosphere that the place has, and why it is different from the cities or the place where poet resides, and the busy life that he has. So in this poem we will see that what such places hold, and what a peaceful life you may get when you reach to today's lecture. Let's see what is there in the poem. What is so special about this poem? This poem is written by W.B. Yeats. Okay, William Butler Yeats. So he is a very well-known poet of nature. In our textbook, a lot of poems are about such topics only, such themes only. And William Butler Yeats is also a renowned poet of such themes, that very common themes about your peace, your nature, exploration, your journeys, your traveling. So he used to take the topics that are related to the nature, or to the beauty of the nature, beauty of the earth. So he also has written a lot of such great poems, and this poem is very important because it is different from other poems. How it is different, we will discuss further in the video. So without wasting much time, let's begin our poem. Okay class, so now we will start our poem by a brief introduction about the poet. We will see that how the poet was as a person, and what were the important factors about his poetry, what makes him a different poet from his contemporaries. So we will begin our lecture with the introduction of the poet. Here we see that about the poet W.B. Yeats. So Yeats was born on June 13, 1865 in Dublin, Ireland. So W.B. Yeats, William Butler Yeats. So Yeats was a very well-known Irish poet. As he was born in Dublin, Ireland, he was an Irish poet, and as you all know that British government, British rule used to make colonies. Okay, they used to make a lot of colonies, and India was a part of that colonial system. So Ireland was also a Britain colony, and still Ireland is a part of United Kingdom. You must have heard about Brexit. A lot of things have changed, but yes, at that point of time, Ireland was a colony of Britain. So he was born in Dublin, Ireland. He was an Irish poet, but later on he went to London. See, he was raised in County Sligo. He was raised in County Sligo. County Sligo was the place of England, and he was later on raised in parts of London as well, as his parents were there. So he was born in Ireland and brought up in London. Okay. So later on he returned to Dublin at the age of 15. So from Ireland he went back to England. Okay. So he was a well-known Irish poet. A different what can we say? A different aspect of his poetry was that he used to use modern techniques. He was a poet renowned for the modernization of poetry. Okay. So many poets were there, T.S. Eliot and so on. Many poets were there who were very conservative, those who believed in conservatism. Okay, they were very conservative, and Yeats was a modern poet. How? He used to write a lot of ballads. You know what are ballads? Ballads are kind of a poetic songs. His writing style, which is there in our present poem as well, which is lyric. What is lyric? Lyric is a poem like a song. When you have the poem look like a song. So the writing style of Yeats was lyric, and he was modern in a sense that he used to write about love, longingness, bond, affection, all those. So he was a romantic kind of a person. He believed in romanticism. You will be confused that I have used the word romanticism. Romanticism here doesn't mean the thing that you have a perception about. That is different. Romanticism is a kind of what do we say? revolution in field of poetry, in field of literature. When Romanticism happened, it is a era of Romanticism. Romanticism has a lot of poetry written about love and all the aspects of beauty. You must have heard in Hindi the ras are there. So he was a poet of Saundarya ras. Okay, he used to write a lot of poems based on Romanticism, and he was writing a kind of a poetry which was lyric based. Okay, it was kind of songs. So this was about William, and he was a painter. Okay, one of his hobby was to paint. So he was a very gifted painter. He was not an ordinary painter. He was considered a very good painter of his time, and some people say that if he would have continued his hobby as a profession, if he would have given more efforts towards painting, then he could have become one of the greatest painter of all time. He is one of the greatest poet, but he could have been a great painter as well. But his painting was very good, and he received Nobel, as I have told you in the last chapter of A Truly Beautiful Mind about Albert Einstein. So he also received Nobel. Nobel is the highest award, civilian award that one can get. It is a global civilian award. So he received it in 1923, and he died in 1939 at the age of 73 years. Okay, so William Butler Yeats was a very great poet, because he introduced modernism in the literature, and he through his lyric theme and his ballads, he received a very great height. Okay, so this is about William Butler Yeats. He is a well-known poet, and he used to write in a different theme. He used to write the poems like a song. So he is a very well-known poet, and he is different from his contemporaries in this sense. So now we will move ahead with the poem that we have in our course, that is the Lake Isle of Innisfree. Okay, so the Lake Isle of Innisfree. What the use of poetic devices William has used in this poem is very great. Yeats has used the beautification in very minute sense. Okay, so Yeats is a poet known for all these elements of Romanticism, and in this poem also you will find that this is a very different poem that you have studied from in the previous poems. Those were about nature. It is also somehow relates to nature, but not entirely, because the element of love, the element of Romanticism, all that elements are present in this poem, which makes it a different poem altogether. So now move ahead with the poem. I will explain you what is the theme of the poem, what is the special things about the poem, and we will read one stanza also. Okay, so we will complete the video with one stanza only. The remaining two stanzas we will do in the next part. Okay, so without wasting time, let's start the poem. See the theme. The theme here is nature versus civilization. Okay, see the term nature and civilization. Okay, so what do you understand by nature? So nature, what do you think when you hear the word nature? Okay, what images are created in your mind when you will hear the word nature? Okay, so it could be the trees, the birds. You could have different images being created in your mind. I am writing a few that are coming to my mind. Okay, so what can be there? River. What else? Mountains. Okay, All such are the element of nature. And do we get to see these elements of nature in city? In our city life, do we get to see all these elements? Yes, in our place where we reside, in Haldwani, in Uttarakhand, there are a lot of cities. In Haldwani only we can see that in Kathgodam area or in our area also we see a lot of greenery. Our school is filled with such scenes and sceneries. We see a lot of greenery in our school, and in a lot of areas of our state especially we will find these elements in cities also. So you must have heard the thing that now birds are very less as they used to be in the past times. So birds are less now. Why? Because of civilization. What is civilization? What do you understand by the term civilization? Being civilized means sabhyata, to become civilized. And how do we become civilized? We often confuse ourselves by modernization. Modernization, yes, is a factor of civilization, but civilization, what happened when we civilized Mohenjo-daro, Harappa? You would have heard Indus Valley civilization. So what happened when we became civilized? What happened? What we did? We developed the art of hunting. We developed fire, everything that made us civilized. Earlier we used to live, the human of that era used to live outside, they build their shelters, so they become civilized, they become more modern in a sense. The factor of modernization came here, so they become civilized. And so with the start of civilization, what happened? As human beings civilized, they left the nature behind. How? We built a lot of roads, we built a lot of factories, we built a lot of we made a lot of cars, and we made the inventions which in a sense, in a way, harm the nature. So this poem is also a conflict between nature and civilization. How? Because poet is in this point. He is in a city or in a busy life, we can say. And what he wants to do? He wants to go to the nature. He wants to go near to the nature. He wants to go to the lake isle. As I said, that river, okay, lake and island, all are the elements of nature. So here the poet is in a conflict that he wants to go back to the nature. He wants to go back to the native place he had. The lake isle is nearby his native place, I have told you. So he wants to run back there, and he wants to run away from civilization. Civilization doesn't mean that he is opposing the modernization or the element of technology or all of the elements, but he is just saying that I want a time being apart from this hustle, apart from this busyness, that I want to live in peace for some time. He is seeking peace, and where do we get peace? Where we don't have the day-to-day hustle of our life. We go here and there. We are always busy. We are doing our work. We are going to school. We are going to college. We are going to our job. So we are not at peace. How do we find peace? Some of the people, they love to hear music. Some of them do painting. Some of them love dance. Some of them write a few things. So they like to write. So in this process they achieve peace. But there are some people who like traveling. So here poet also wants to go near to the nature, and he wants to achieve his peace. So this poem is about achieving peace, of getting peace, and how he will get by getting out of this conflict of nature versus civilization, he will go to nature and he will leave the civilization behind for some time and he will achieve peace. Okay, so this is the basic theme of the poem, that a conflict between nature and civilization. The poet wants to achieve peace by going near to the nature, to the peace, to the beauty of the environment, beauty of the lake, the rivers, the trees. Okay, so this is the main theme of the poem. So here we have the first stanza and the first lines, the opening lines. Here the poet is saying that I will rise and go now. I will rise and go now and go to Innisfree. I will rise and go now and go to Innisfree, and a small cabin built there of clay and wattles made. And a small cabin built there of clay and wattles made. 9 bean rows will I have there, a hive for the honeybee, and live alone in the bee-loud glade. Okay, I will rise and go now and go to Innisfree, and a small cabin built there of clay and wattles made. 9 bee rows will I have there, a hive for the honeybee, and I live alone in the bee-loud glade. Okay, so here we can see the rhyming of made and glade and Innisfree and honeybee. Okay, so coming to the poem, see the first line. I will arise and go now and go to Innisfree. So the poet is saying that I will wake up now, I will stand up now and I will go to Innisfree. Okay, arise means stand up. Arise means to stand up. Okay, so the poet is saying that I will arise, I will stand up and I will go now and go to Innisfree. So Innisfree is a place that the poet wants to go back, and it is the place where poet was born. So it is a place in Ireland, in Dublin. Okay, so he wants to go there and he wants to go there right now, and he is saying that I will stand up. I will here stand up doesn't mean that poet is lying on the ground or he is sitting somewhere or he is in his bed. Here stand up means that he will now have the courage, he will now muster up the courage, he will now finally decide, finally have the guts to go now, and where? Go to Innisfree, where he was born, a place which is very beautiful, which is nearby to Lake Island. So he wants to go to the Lake Island of Innisfree. Innisfree is a lake island in Dublin. So he wants to go to the native place, and he has made up his mind that he will finally go. And now see, and a small cabin built there of clay and wattles made. So he is saying that I will go there and I will make a cabin. What is a cabin? A cabin, a room. You have cabins in ships. You have cabins in any island or so. So cabin is basically a room. So cabin means a room. So he is saying that I will make cabin of clay. Clay you all know. And clay and wattles. What are wattles? Wattles means twisted sticks for making fences. Okay, sticks which are twisted, it is straight, it is twisted. Okay, I will twist it, and he is saying that I will make a cabin with clay and twisted sticks for the fences. I will use the wattles for the fences, and he is saying that he will live there. And a small cabin built there, I will build a small cabin, a small room for myself, and it will be made up of clay and wattles. So he is saying that I will stand up now, I will get the courage now, I will have the guts now to go to Innisfree back and to the island that is very beautiful, and I will make a cabin and I will live there. Now see, 9 bean rows will I have there, a hive for the honeybee. So he is saying that I will have 9 bean rows. Okay, so he is saying that he will make the rows, he will make a structure there, and he will make a hive for the honeybee. So he will also have a he will also have a beehive, your book's name. Okay, he is saying that I will build I will make a beehive for the honeybee, for the honeybees. for the honey, and he's saying that I live alone in the bee loud glade. So he's saying that I will reside there alone in the bee loud glade. What is bee loud glade? Bee loud here means the loud buzzing sound of the bees. So he is saying that there will be no noise of the civilization that we have discussed. There will be no noise of cars. There will be no noise of construction. There will be only the loud voice, loud sound of the bees. Okay, the honey bees. So he will have the only noise that will be made by the element of nature. Honey bee is also an element of nature. Okay, so he's saying that I will live there alone. So he's saying that I will be alone there, as now I am surrounded by a lot of people and I don't like it here. Okay, so he's saying that I will move back to Innisfree, where I was born. It is a very beautiful place where nature is found everywhere. So he's saying I will build a cabin for myself. I will make it of clay and bottles, and I will make a honeybee there, and I will live there alone in the sound of the buzzing sound of honeybees. There will be no other noise, there will be no other people, and I will live there alone in peace. So what the poet is trying to seek is peace and tranquility. What is tranquility? It is also peace. So he wants to live there in peace, he wants to live there in quietness, and he wants to live there alone. So it is suggesting that the poet is fed up with the normal life, the daily routine, and he wants to go back to the place where he was born, because as a child he used to live there. And what do you see in village? Okay, when you go to your village, there are less number of people. There is no what do we say, construction work going on, no honks of the cars. So there is a subtle peace there, and that is what our poet is searching. So here comes your question that I am going to put up in the Google Meet, Google session. So let me put it here. Okay, so I will put the question here. I hope you have understood the poem's first stanza, and I hope it is very much clear to you. Okay, so I will put the question now. So what is the question that you have to work on? That you will explain how you seek peace. Okay, you must also be having a very busy schedule. So how do you find peace? What is the thing that makes you peaceful? Okay, so some people hear music, some do other things. So what is the thing that makes you feel relaxed? What is the thing that makes you relax? Okay, what is the thing that you do for relaxation? Okay, so this is the question we will take on Google Meet. Okay, so this is a very important thing that we are going to do, and we will take this question. So here our poem's first part is coming to the end. So I have explained the first stanza. I have given you a brief description about the poet. I have given you the theme of the poem. So with the explanation of the rest of the stanzas, you can write a beautiful summary. I am hopeful, and you will do this work. What you are going to do, you will note down the word meanings that were there in the first stanza for this part of your video. Okay, this part of your chapter of your poem. So you will do the word meanings, and when we will be over with the whole poem, when I will explain you the rest of the stanzas, you will write the summary on your own, and I will send you some extract based questions of the poem. Okay class, so now here our session concludes. I hope you have understood the poem that I have explained in this part. I have explained the first stanza. I hope you have got it, and I hope you have got the work that I have given to you for the Google session, Google Meet session. So I will be asking each and every one of you the question. Send me the queries that you have about any topic that we have taken by far. So you will have to send me the queries till Tuesday, and if you will not send the queries, that means that you have understood everything, and then I will take your test. I will take the questions. I will ask you the questions, and if you will not answer, that will be bad for you. That means you are cheating, because if you are not asking, that means you know everything. Okay, so send me your queries by Tuesday. We will discuss whatever I have given you for the Google Meet session. I will not repeat here, so that you will see the video properly. And here the session concludes. I hope you will watch the further videos also. Watch the video of every teacher, because they are putting a lot of efforts. And do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Most of the viewers have not subscribed, so please subscribe to the channel. I am putting a lot of effort, so I would be happy if you will subscribe to the channel, and please like the videos. And if you have any confusion, please send your queries. Okay, so we will meet again in the next video, and on that day of posting the video of the concluding part of the poem, that day will be our Google Meet session also. So I will be asking you the question that I have given you, and I will be taking your queries if you will send me. If you will not, then we will have the kind of a test. I will put the questions in front of you, because you know everything if you haven't asked me anything. Okay, so till that time, take care of yourself. Watch the videos, complete your work properly, and we will meet again in the next video. So thank you so much for watching the lecture. Bye bye.